we looking? How we looking? Hold on, let me get my shit off. Hold on. Hold up. Hold up. We back. All right, that's enough explosion. I lied. Just one more. Oh my gosh, have y'all missed me? Have y'all missed this face? Hold on, let me make sure my hair right. Hold on. Ooh, I'm looking crazy right now. Oh gosh. Welcome back, everybody. Hold on. All right, let me get my stuff. All right, welcome back, y'all. This is Dissect Dialogue. Let me get on make sure my stuff tight. Make sure y'all feel my gut like I'm a battle rapper. But now, all jokes aside, this is Dissect Dialogue. I'm Aaron T. Welcome back again. I know what y'all probably thinking. You know, why? Where has he been at? Where has been a week? You know, Super Bowl happened, so I was thinking like if I would have did my stuff, not a lot of people was tuning in, yada yada yada. So I didn't want to risk that. I know people wasn't probably gonna like show up, probably gonna skim through this. Probably got a lot of stuff going on. Now, I know I've been telling y'all about the lives for like the longest. I know I've said that, but I'm getting close. Okay, I'd never stop like saying that I was getting close. I'm trying. So whatever y'all like, comment, share, do whatever it is that y'all do. Help me get up there, man. I'm trying to do live. That's what I've been doing for the longest, but I think I'm playing myself too. So I'm not just trying to put it on you guys, but I got to do it to myself as well. Get everything out there. But enough about me. But let's get into some quick hot topics. So, like I said, Super Bowl was a week ago. Didn't seem like it. Doing a lot of stuff. And I mean, it was an interesting game. Interesting halftime show. Few keys were off. Anyway, just light pun. But shout out to everybody that was doing the thing. Shout out to the fake Swifties that only watch football because of her. Shout out to the refs. I mean the players for doing what they do best. But that's not what I really want to get into. I mean that's part of it, but something really interesting just popped in. Hold on, let me let that rock. But cut that off for a second. So there's this theory that, for those that are familiar with history, there's this theory called the Roman circus theory. Now, basically, the Roman circus, what it is was, let me pull it up. Now, it says it was a large open-air venue used mainly for chariot races, although sometimes serving other purposes. It was similar to the ancient Greek hippodrome. Although with theaters and amphitheaters, circuses were one of the main entertainment venues at the time. Similar buildings called stadia. Stadia. Stadiums. Anyway, were used for Greek-style athletics, particularly in the Eastern Greek-speaking part of the empire, but these were typically smaller than circuses. According to Edward Gibbon, the Roman people at the start of the 5th century AD, quote, still considered the circus as their home, their temple, and the seat of the republic. Now, notice those words that I mentioned. Oh, and of course, everything breaks down to Latin, right? Everything breaks down to Latin. Latin, circus, it means circle. Now, think about every football game that you've been to, any basketball game, just any, stadia that you've been to. And notice how it's in a certain pattern. It's in a certain circular shape, a stadium structure. You know, notice how some stadiums uh, have like the displays. Especially like in back in the old days, Roman circus, how they have like two sides. When like a cage will open up and there'll be a person on a horseback with a sword, another person on a horseback and a sword, and they charge into, right? Is that not like sports? Do football players and basketball players not come from opposite sides of a cage, a gate, and then charge at each other, fighting for whatever? And I always thought that was interesting because the reason why a lot of these stadiums were made and a lot of these things, how they pay top dollar for it, and like all these people, come to see these individuals engage in those activities, was because in shout out to Bill Cooper, he mentioned this before. When things are going on in the world, right, and people start questioning things, people start wondering why things aren't as normal as they were before. People are starting to act crazy. People are starting to lose their minds, run around and trying to, destroy everything. What's a great place to send them to? You know, to get them entertained, right? Stuff like a stadium or a circus or have chariot races or go to these sporting events, right? Keep people distracted. That's what they were always meant for. Now, I'm not going to be too much of a hypocritical as someone that at some point was watching sports, football, was watching basketball, was watching wrestling, all these different types of sports. Um, I always thought it was kind of interesting because at times it didn't seem real watching it. Nothing seemed real about it. Everything seemed forced. Everything seemed kind of uh, regurgitated stuff that was shown before. You know, everything seemed like it was uh, nothing was organic about it. Now, mind you, I'm not knocking that it was happening before, but at least I would say beforehand, it was uh, it was somewhat entertaining because of how brutal it was. Because most people, whether they like to admit it or not, and also boxing, you can include boxing into this as well. Um, Everything is for entertainment factor. Not everything is as real as people make it seem. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on. Everything is, you know, up to keep the viewer entertained. It doesn't matter if people paid the refs off or the bets is whatever. As long as you keep them entertained and you keep them on their toes, and they pick who they want to win. That's what happened. Whoever you want to lose will lose. That's basically how it works. But our sports rigged though. Our sports rigged. Are they under a script? Right now, as someone who wants to get into script writing eventually, I do notice that even though when you think of scripts, you think about movies. Think about TV. Think about uh, jobs, right? Jobs gives you a script to read off of when you're dealing with customers. They give you that. So what happens is you have to constantly have this repeated uh, mantra in a sense in rhythm, this format and rhythm. You can try to do your own interpretation of what you think you should do, but don't you dare improvise. Don't you dare try to freestyle anything because anything that goes against the script is your ass. And with these sporting events, especially when they have certain players, they are the hot artists. I said artists, athletes, or you can put artists there on the scene. If they're dating a certain celebrity, right? If they're, with somebody at the time being, then they garnish a new fan base of people. Those people are going to invest time, maybe even money. And it's just a never ending cycle, you know. Promoting gambling is like at an all time high now. I've never seen, people promote gambling as far as I can remember in any time. I can't even remember. I'm noticing that it's just bad right now. A lot of people are um, just blowing money over. It's almost like when people go to vote. When people go to vote, it's like no matter who you pick, the powers that be that we always mention, is gonna pick who they want. When you bet on these sporting events and the games, uh, they're gonna pick who they want to pick at the time being. Like when these championship games come along, they pick who they're gonna pick because it's what fits at the time. It's not gonna matter on because I've seen so many sporting events where I notice that something isn't right with the calls, and I'm thinking like, nah, I'm just probably tripping. But then when I think about it, I'm like, oh wait, they wanted this to happen because at the time when I was watching football, right? I'll tell you about me. So growing up, even though I grew up in, Texas, my dad especially was from Louisiana, and he grew up as a Saints fan, despite what they were known for. They were notoriously known for being trash. Still was a Saints fan. I think he had I think the Cowboys was his second team because his parents were from Texas, so he had um, that going on. Um, yeah, so yeah, that then I think the Steelers was like his third thing. But yes, um, he was a big fan of the Saints, and I remember like when they won their now first and only Super Bowl at the time, or right now. I remember when that happened, and I remember thinking, you know, ever since they won their first Super Bowl, I noticed that these whoever is responsible, like the GMs or whoever is responsible for making the real rules, I noticed that they really stopped Drew Brees, the quarterback at the time, for being like, not to say accolades always matter, but it's like this guy was breaking so many. This guy made, passing for a lot of yards like cool. Like nobody was really, if you really think about it, the only people that was really throwing 5,000 plus yards at the time was uh Dan Marino and Breeze. They were like the only guys at one point that hit that pinnacle. Then once Drew Brees started, getting even better, and he started breaking records. Now all of a sudden everybody started throwing 5,000 yards. So I always thought Brees should have at least had. I think I always say Drew Brees was the best quarterback to never win an MVP. I'll still say it to this day. He's the best quarterback to never win an MVP. Because there's no way a guy, mind you, isn't the actually right height for a quarterback, right? Because quarterbacks were, for the most part, really tall. You can go back to any quarterback you can think of. I mean, shit, Tom Brady 6'4". I think Peyton Manning like 6'5". Phillip Rivers like 6'5". I'm trying to think of like all the I know Warren Moon was tall. Roger Staubach was really tall. Ben Roethlisberger's tall. Um, like for the most part, quarterbacks are really tall because they got to look above and see whoever. So Drew Brees, I mean, they build him at 6 feet, but some people say he was like probably like 5'11", maybe like 5'10" and a half, 5'11". The fact that he was five, what they say could be 6 feet, even though they could be wrong. The fact that he was, doing all this stuff, breaking all these records, carrying a team on his back that was considered trash, despite, with the aftermath of Katrina and all that. I really think they sabotaged the Saints to make them seem like, oh, they're just the one-hitter quitter. They just got this one ring and not going back. Because I honestly think they could have like had at least three rings, 3 or 4. My opinion. I mean, like I said, I'm not like a sports fanatic now, but I'm just saying, looking back, I think they could have had like 3 or 4. But that's what I mean. Like they pick who they wanna. Then they, made Peyton Manning like, they gave him the sob story. He got hurt and uh, they made him switch teams. Then he went to the team that another legendary quarterback was on. They try to make him the face. And it's like they know exactly what they're doing. Tom Brady, same thing. They try to make here, and then we see what happened with Tom Brady. You see how they treated him. They treated him great. Man got injured. That one season that he got hurt after he lost that Super Bowl to the Giants. He got hurt that one season, and that man never. They make sure he never got hurt again. And I think they do that a lot with certain athletes. That's what I mean with sports where they pick and choose who they want to. Like even switching sports, even the stuff with Derrick Rose. With Derrick Rose just happened. How Derrick Rose, the youngest MVP, no matter if they want to say, oh, I don't know if they deserve. Well, did they say? I think they said Derrick Rose probably deserved it. But anyway, I mean, to this day, I still think, man, Derrick Rose should have been up there, one of the greats. But there's a clip. I probably might send it, but it's like because people don't think athletes have a code they got to follow too. They just, I mean, they may play sports, they may throw a football, dribble ball. They have a code they got to follow too, especially if they're a franchise, right? Now, my theory is that Derrick Rose possibly could have been, at LeBron's level. To me, I think could have been at LeBron's level. I mean, man, was people want to talk about LeBron's come up and like how he was this kid that grew up no father figure whatever, and then they brought him up. He was like a 17-year-old on the cover, whatever. But Derrick Rose also grew up in all places Chirac. So when I heard about that, I was like, why isn't he put on the same pedestal like a LeBron? But then I remember, I remember I was looking at this video. It was like the All-Star game, and like everybody was dancing, and I remember Derrick Rose just standing there, just not getting down with the get down in a sense. He just wasn't with it. He was not with the shits, and I think they saw that. And I think once he gotten that major injury, where he tore his ACL, I think they sabotaged him, to make sure he didn't play another quarter in his life. It didn't last for long because he was able to, still bounce back, still be able to. I mean, she's still playing. You know, most people with that injury with no real medical assistance usually don't come back. I mean, look what happened to Brandon Roy, another one that I think if he had the right medical attention could have been cold. But I think even like that, they pick and choose who they want to help out, who they don't want to help out. You mean to tell me LeBron ain't had a moment where he had like close to career-ending injuries? They probably got some shit for him where they make sure that doesn't happen because they got to follow a code. Derrick Rose didn't follow the code. That's why they didn't give him the right stuff they wanted to give him. And then you see what happened to him now. Now he's just like a memory in a sense. And I think they do that with a lot of athletes. They pick and choose who they want. And kind of like what they do to celebrities. Which brings me to my next point. Let me get my transitions. And I'm just doing my transition. Now, my next point is people like to say, well, it's not like it's a movie because, you know, there's no cameras. I mean, we can tell when we're watching a movie because they can't see us or whatever, but it's like, I mean, when you watch a basketball game on TV, they can't see you. Shit, uh, even when you just in the Coliseum or in the stadium watching them play, shit, you probably looking at glass, invisible glass when you show up. You probably not even watching them play right now. The thing that let me know about that being bullshit was when the bubble era, the bubble NBA era, when they had all those virtual viewers or whatever. I was like, that let me know how full of shit the NBA was. And the fact that the WNBA players didn't even test for COVID, but that's another story. But to wrap this all up, I mean, sporting games, are they different from watching a movie play? I mean, watching a play, I mean, it's still entertainment, whether you want to, just like sports. Sports is still entertainment, play is still entertainment. Wrestling, which also got a rap for, being considered fake. But I wouldn't say it's fake because you see them moving. You see them doing all these flips. You see them, you know, grabbing each other. You see flesh. You see sweat. All that. So I don't want to say it's fake, but it's scripted. People don't. It's scripted. It's somewhat staged. They actually prep what they're gonna do before they're gonna do it. That doesn't necessarily make it fake. It's more like a motion picture type of thing. It's not, you know, CGI. I hope it's not. It's not like none of that. But it is also something to be mindful of because people can get caught up in the hype by thinking because, sports is not that, it's way different from movies. But, I mean, it's actually one and the same. It's actually one and the same if you really think about it. I mean, a lot of people don't think actors can be athletes. A lot of people don't think athletes can be actors. You don't think they be faking injuries too? You don't think athletes, you know, they take dives because they need that extra money because their salary ain't been boosted up, or they got a certain addiction that they can't hang, or they want to find a exit plan to get out of that life, so they take certain dives in fights or bouts or competitions. I mean, but hey, what do I know? I'm like I said, I'm just a spectator. I'm just watching from afar. The final thoughts. Final thoughts. Why isn't it working? That's the wrong transition button, but it's all good. Final thoughts. Now, I'm not one for people to hate on, you know, those that engage in watching sports. I mean, hey, if you want to watch that, that's on you. If you're entertained by that, just feel free. If you're entertained by it, if you like watching that stuff, go ahead. Nobody's stopping you. All I'm saying is don't be caught up in the blinders and thinking that's real life. I mean, it's just another form of entertainment to just keep you preoccupied. There's still a whole world around you. Like I said, I almost have to think like, oh well, sports isn't really about this, or I only watch the Super Bowl because just for the commercials and the halftime. But it's okay to let people, it's just like movies. People, like being taken out of reality for some for a certain period of time. I don't knock it. I don't knock it, but what I do knock is people thinking that people like risking their lives or their families definitely just by betting on number 23 that he doesn't miss a tackle, or else your whole house is going to be foreclosed. That's like something totally different. But you know, it's a different type of ball game. No pun intended, but just all's fair in the name of sports, but we can't let sports dictate us from actually living life. You know. Oh, let me turn this down a bit because I got some things to tell y'all. So y'all know me. Y'all know I'm a busy guy. Let me make sure. Let me just make sure my stuff's right because my stuff's been acting funny. So you got your boy, your guy, your man's is doing some things. So number one, let me say this real quick. So I this movie that I've been telling you about for the longest that I had to be stopped for a bit. So that's back on. So I got a movie role, got the movie thing going on. All right. Secondly, let's get a second round. Let's get a drum roll in. Now, secondly, I just got a thing to do. It's like this scene. Basically, Rice University wants me hired me to do like some acting for them for a video. They got me on it, and I kid you not, I literally just got a message from a playwright that I had something for me, but I just found out she is offering something or for me as well. So I might have something going on there. So I'm doing, you know, I also got you know, I'm working on well, you know what? I won't even tell you. I won't even tell you that. I'll just keep it pushing with that. But I'm working on something. I'm gonna work on something that everybody's gonna like. You're gonna be surprised. It's in the works. I got some of my sleeve. I'm gonna have my own whatever. But that's all. That's all that. I think that's pretty much everything. Is that all I'm doing? I'm doing a lot right now. So yeah, movie. Um, what else? Rice University, and I got another opportunity for another play. So I'm doing a lot right now. Uh, Other than that, man, it's like I said. I mean to. I know y'all miss me. I know y'all miss looking at me. Ooh, I know. I can't wait to hit the braid shop too. I know y'all see me. Got the thing sticking out. Got them sticking out, but I know I was keep touching my head trying to make sure it was good, but either way, appreciate y'all for sticking around. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Spotify, Apple, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. All that. Y'all know where I'm at. But until next time, I'm gone. Peace.